figure I would tell you before you start the stream. Or,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
because people would be confused. Okay.
Delete forever! Okay. We should hopefully be on YouTube now. Nope, we're not. It says excellent connection, but the screen is black. So that's cool. There we go. It's working now. Okay. Okay. Oh, welcome back, everybody. Corvus, how are you today?
I am alright.
It's good to hear. Ooh, lordy. This song is called Don't Stop Loving. I'm just going to skip past that one. Oliver, welcome in. Eldritch, hello. Hello, hello. Why can't I pop out this chat? That's what I want to do. Nope, we're doing this button. That's right. I saved this. I saved this last time so I could just skibbity bop to it. Alright. Now if I could only remove that stupid heart emoji, things would be better. Okay.
Yeah, that I don't think that can be removed.
I like that it exists. Like, hey, push that button a bunch for some reason. Like, I think that's supposed to do something. But I can't actually do anything about it.
Yeah, I think that's something like programmed into the UI of.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure makes way more sense on mobile. So
Possibly.
I've lost everything.
The plot.
Where the hell did Aggie go? There it is. Okay. We're set up. We're set up now. Everything should be fine. I lost the... There it is. We are doing the viewer suggestions today, so I do have the list saved out here. Oliver, that's what we call a non-starter. So, for what are you referring to your reflections? Because what you've done is you've baited me into asking you questions instead of just telling me what you'd like to tell me. So, what's up? How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to start off with a rugby sketch just to warm up for the day. And we'll go from there. It's cold in my house again, but it doesn't feel as cold as it was last week, so I don't know what's going on. The weather drives me crazy. I think it's wet. I think it's wetter, so it doesn't feel as cold. 62 degrees in my house right now. 52% humidity. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's where we're at. Little rugby mouth. I feel like it's going to be a slow day. I don't know why. I have a lot of suggestions today, which is going to be great. Maybe it's just my brain is kind of slow. I had a caffeinated soda yesterday, and it just like wrecked me. I'd like to be able to have a little bit of caffeine, but I don't think that's in my. I don't think that's in the cards for me. You know, a little pick me up. Nope. I'm gonna have to get high on life from now on. How's the volume, by the way? The microphone has been really buggy, and I haven't swapped it out yet. Let's see. It looks like it's doing okay. So that'll be fine. The reason for my vaguity is mostly due to the fact that I don't really know what I'm thinking about. Yeah, it's okay to just say hello. Like, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, not everything has to be preceded with a huge fanfare and faffery, I guess. I think there is a how do I say it? I do worry that sometimes the community feels like they have to come in and like entertain everybody, but it's kind of my job, so don't feel like that. Don't feel like you have to be the ones making chat spicy and stuff. Yeah, just come in and hang out, relax, enjoy your day.
Like, it's okay not to have small talk.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's like a big thing that people are like, oh, you should always try to like have small talk, and it's like you don't have to.
Yep. I do think there's a bit of a like finesse to creating a good conversation. Like I'm not a good conversationalist. I'm just not. In that case, hello, yeah, welcome Oliver, welcome in. Hope you're doing all right today. I knew some guys in college that could just talk about nothing for hours, and it broke my brain all the time. Moniker, welcome in. And when I talked to one of them, about it, he's like, no, the trick is to just say two things and then ask a question. It doesn't have to be like consecutive. It doesn't have to be important to the question. You just do it. And the problem was that because there's so many people that are like this, two people will just talk at each other and like nothing will be said, and it drives me crazy.
Oh God.
Like, but yeah, like it's a talent that you can have. It's like it's part of improv as well. It's just like it's kind of the yes anding. Whatever someone says, you make a comment about it, you add something to it, and then you ask a question, and then it just goes. And it's like this was also the same group of people that like couldn't exist not at a bar. Like if they weren't at a bar, they had to be somewhere drinking, and it's just like, you know what, I don't want to hang out with this group anymore. And I faded away from that, but taught me some things about conversation, which is not bad, right? Sometimes those things can be very valuable. On the other hand, I'm just going to draw rugbies and enjoy a rainy day, because I think that's important.
I don't know. I think it's sprinkling here right now.
Is the snow melting?
Oh, the snow is basically gone already. Like we had. Oh God, I think it's like either today or tomorrow. It's supposed to be like almost 69.
Nice. Are we buffering for anyone else? Oh no, are you buffering? Let me look. I mean, I don't know if there's anything I can do about it, but
Hey? No. It's not for me.
YouTube seems happy on my end. So it might just be you, Moniker. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. I have been struggling with my conversational skills in D&D as well recently. Partially because I realized that my ability to actually like bullshit and talk goes down the less I DM. But when I all of a sudden started playing an investigator, and I became kind of the face of the group. And so we'd go into a conversation, and Kevin the Necromancer would like throw something at me, and I'd just be like, "Interesting. Give me a minute." And I'd have to like pause and like really think about things. I'm like, I'm not doing well at being supposedly being very clever and cunning, but it's still been fun. So everybody struggles, myself included, with conversation. Which I think is kind of, I don't want to say it's a dying art, because like we talk all the time. People talk all the time. But there's definitely a little bit of a lag for myself and some of the people I know since college. And I think that's because we don't have to talk to a variety group of people anymore. Mm-hmm. We get so used to just talking with our small groups. Let me get a little distracted. I don't have to branch out. I do notice I tend to absorb maybe not accents, but like mannerisms and speech patterns more now, because I'm not around so many people. Mm-hmm. So if I start watching like one YouTuber too much, I will start picking up their inflections. Which is real bad, because if I watch too much Philip DeFranco, I start talking too fast. And it's like, nope, that's bad.
Funny you say that. I just saw a video, not even a video, really short, last night, about how scientists in Antarctica are now like developing their own accents.
Funny.
And it's like kind of combining all the accents of like the people who live there, which are mostly like British and like Russian and Ukrainian scientists.
Accents are weird to me for like how they're created. Mm-hmm. Because you think it would happen in very small knit groups, and maybe it does, but then that spreads, right? And now that we have this like global communication where everyone can talk to anybody at any point in time, you feel like that would blend it out, and instead we're getting like more clickish. Like with all the Gen Z alpha talk crap. It's really weird.
That's more of slang.
That is more slang than accent. You're right.
I'll be right back.
Sure. Sorry to put you on the spot there, Oliver. It was not my intent to blow you up. Delcor used to do that to me all the time. He would walk up to me and be like, "Do you know blank?" And I'm like, No, I don't. And he would be like, "How do you not know blank?" And I'm like, "Because I don't." And he would just keep like grilling me instead of telling me what the actual point of the conversation was. It's like, why have you trapped me in this conversation, Delcor? Just tell me what you wanted to tell me about this person. Give him the old run around. I haven't given Rugby a feather. A flether? Check out the sweet flether. He needs a good feather from time to time. Stick it in his plumage. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good to start. I hope we are functional on Twitch. Eldridge said good morning, and then I heard nothing. Well, now the stream is We would like you to stream at 68 kilobytes. It's great. My internet is just garbage. I need new internet. Fiber, come on. Pick up the pace. Get your shit together. Is Twitch actually going and I'm just not seeing it because I hit the wrong button? Let's find out. It might be the live chat from the other video. Nope, we're good. Okay. Well, for those of you who are new or just jumping in, we are going to be doing the viewer suggestion today, which means we will be... whoops. What just happened? Oh, lordy. Come on. Did I accidentally close the live stream? What happened? Let's take a look. See, there we go. We're good. Okay. We will be doing the viewer suggestion today. So if you suggested something on the community post earlier in the week, I have that on the list. If you've not suggested anything this week, you're allowed to post something into the chat, and we'll put it on the list, and then we can try to draw it. We roll dice. The dice gods decide what we draw, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start today. We have about 24. So I'm going to roll a D... Ooh, how do I want to do that? Let's roll a D6 and a D20. And we'll go from there. 4. Wow, I rolled real low. Well, wow. A female cheetah fighter with a feisty attitude. Cheetah fighter, huh? Should we make it just a cheetah? Or should we make it like a catfolk? That's kind of the question. And then I will put a post up on YouTube so people can decide what color we use. I bet a lot of people aren't going to be notified because we started streaming and then the stream crashed. Well, I had to shut it off, but... yeah, there are 4 prompts right now, so we're going to go ahead and just... delete that message. Delete that message so people don't get confused. Because right now I think if you click on that it will take you to nowhere. So hopefully people will figure that out. Okay, cheetah. How do we draw cheetah folk? That's the real question. We did like the what, puma last week. Cheetahs I think are a little rounder, like not softer, but maybe I just need to look up some cheetah references. Yeah, I'm gonna draw like a Freddy Fazbear if I'm not careful here, so let's just look at the cheetah. Oh, they look so dumb. It's great. Pixel definitely has kind of a cheetah look to him. Just like the real derpy long face. A male tiefling fighter with a hellhound-like head and a big old bone sword. Nice. All right, yeah. Lauren, I will put it on the list. Okay, let's see if I can draw a cheetah. Let's see if I can draw a cheetah. They have one of these going on. They have a pretty round head, which is great. Which is where I was started, so that's good. And they got kind of a long muzzle. How am I going to make her look feisty? That's the question. What does one mean by feisty? Whoop. They got little round ears. Whoop. Streamlined. Streamlined ears. I don't know if I can watch today. It keeps buffering random times for me for whatever reason. Interesting. Try going to Twitch. Hop over to Twitch and see if it's still doing it there, and then we know that it was your connection and not mine. Yeah, if it is mine, I don't know what I can do about it. So yeah, unfortunately, Monica, I do apologize for that, but not a lot I can do about it. I guess if she's a cheetah, she should be maybe a little thinner than normal. She's a fighter, so I want to give her some armor too. But she probably wouldn't have plate mail on. So maybe we can do like a chain shirt or something. Chain shirt could be interesting. Twitch might be dead. I don't know. No one's talking over there. Which kind of is just Twitch's way. I don't know what I've done. It does look like a cheetah, but it looks very squished. I don't know why I've drawn a squished cheetah. It's like Chester Cheeto, but I don't know. The zero sugar one. What kind of poofs do they have on their head? Maybe we'll do that. How does one draw a chain shirt? I think we'd want something like just for the neck, so we don't have lots of chains scraping your face as you're pulling it over your shirt. Maybe a light collar. She doesn't look feisty. She looks grumpy. What's a good feisty pose? I say after I've drawn the face. There we go. I am excited. There's a new Hell card expansion coming out on... Actually, I guess it's not an expansion. The game's coming out of alpha, or what do you call it? Early access. Coming out of early access on the 1st. Adding a new character. It's a cool game. It's kind of a little multiplayer card-based roguelike. It's kind of my jams. I like that. Welcome back.
Hello.
I've drawn a Diet Chester Cheetah. Is it Chester Cheetah or Chester Cheeto? Chester Cheetah. When in doubt, hands on hips.
Chester Cheetah.
Chester Cheetah. Okay.
Ooh.
Who just ooh-oohed me? Atomic, welcome in. I'm surprised more people don't play with the soundboard, but at the same time, not a lot of people hang out on Twitch. It's interesting. Do people on YouTube prefer YouTube? I mean, obviously, but like, what about YouTube is it that you prefer, I guess, is a better question.
Well, for me, YouTube just doesn't lag too much. Twitch is always lagging for me.
Oh, interesting.
It like the stream will just stop.
That definitely makes a difference. Ken and Chocolate, I'm in class right now. I hope you're paying attention. Don't get in trouble. Are you sure you shouldn't be all that in a bag of Cheetos? How much did I miss? Not a lot. Not a lot, Wake. I made fun of my cheetah drawing, and that's about it. That's about all we've done so far.
Typical work day.
Mm-hmm. Step 1, draw something. Step 2, berate the hell out of it. I feel like I'm drawing a feisty space captain for some reason, and that's not right. I need to make this. I need to pull this back into fighter mode ASAP. Maybe we'll do some boob armor, which, while not canonically correct, it looks good.
Unless you're shadow version. First
That man's got some issues.
Yeah.
And that's all right.
I'm saying this not to so much pick on, but just state that kind of weird.
He has chosen his battles very specifically.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna fight with him about it.
I used to subscribe to his channel. I then just said, nah.
You know, that's fair. That is absolutely fair.
Angry Australian? I think he was Australian.
Mm-hmm. Is his brother Jazzer? Is that right?
Say what?
I'm trying to remember. Jazza, the artist guy. Are they brothers? I feel like
I don't know.
there are two Australian YouTubers who are brothers, and I can't remember who they are, and I didn't know that for a long time. It's over the States. It sucks. Ugh, I'm sorry. Learn the song, and then learn what the Civil War was fought over, and that's the only thing you need to know about the States. The two most important things. I hate what I'm doing here. Apparently I'm still warming up. I'm going to make her a little chunkier. Cat people in space is a thing since science fiction began. I mean, cats in space have been a thing since space travel began. So, I guess science fiction came before that, but still. If you have not seen the cats in space, it's pretty funny.
I mean,
Probably not for the cat.
Cats in space.
Say that again?
Thundercats are cats in space.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about Thundercats. I did forget about Thundercats. Touche. Cats in space was probably not fun for the cats, but
you.
I think they had a thought that if they could, put a cat in space, that it would just make a perpetual motion machine, like that weird commercial where they put a piece of toast on a buttered piece of toast in the back of a cat.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't seen that commercial, I highly suggest looking it up. God, I don't even know.
But it took me a moment to like fully figure out like what is this Rook? I was like, oh, I get it.
What is Rook talking about? If you drop a piece of toast, it always lands butter side down. If you drop a cat, it always lands on its feet. So if you put those opposing each other on a stick, infinite energy. You create a tiny dynamo with a cat and a piece of toast. It's simple. It's simple physics. Red and Link did a taste test this morning for elote, which is just like street corn. And I've been craving sweet corn for like 2 months, but they just don't have it in my grocery store. And I was like, man,
it's a bit out of season.
It's a bit out of season now, which makes me sad. But oh, do I want that sweet street corn? Rhett and Link made me jealous this morning. Do other people have like seasonal summer foods they crave during the winters?
Cucumbers.
Ooh, yeah, cucumbers. That's a good one. I bought a bunch of cucumbers and I was worried they were going to go bad, so I made a whole bunch of pickles. And now I just have a bunch of pickles in my fridge.
Because you can't eat pickles.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, these are too salty. Why did I make these? Have you ever had to decline a commission? Yeah, from time to time. Sometimes people will commission me for something that I just don't want to do, which is my prerogative, to turn something down. I've also had people, like, sometimes I've had people ask me, like, oh, I'd like to commission something. I'm like, great, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want you to paint my family. And it's just like, that's not the kind of artist I am. I don't do, like, full portraits. That happens from time to time. And then the other ones where I've turned people down, I've had people ask me to draw something, and I'll give them a sketch or something to try to see, and they're like, no, that's not right, I want something different. And I'll do another sketch, and I can't communicate with them what they want. So it's just like, I don't think you and I are the right mix to try to work here. So I've declined those as well. Yeah. And then I think the only other time I've declined commissions is when people I've actually not just turned down a commission, but been like, the style you want is not the style I do, and I know other artists, and so sometimes I will pass them off to other artists who I think will do a better job. Yeah, so there's a bunch of reasons why a commission would get declined. Did it answer your question, Wake? I hope it did. See, at the end of the day, commission work is just a job, not all jobs have to be. I used to have a friend that was just like, you take everything and make it work, and I'm like, that seems like a bad idea. But that's what he does, and he is super successful. So there is something to the fake it till you make it concept, but in my mind, that's just a lot of extra stress and a lot of extra work. When, in my opinion, I would prefer finding like the right artist for the artwork and letting them, get exactly what they want out of it. And that's why I can't be a car salesman, because I will send people to other car dealerships. They didn't give me a type of fighter, so I'm just gonna make them. Give them some gauntlets. This is a really bad gauntlet. This is really bad everything. I'm not sure what's going on. I like this much of the drawing, so I think I'm just going to keep that much of the drawing. And then we'll start from there. We'll do a weird bust today. I started watching there's a Zorro TV show on Amazon, I think, Amazon Prime.
Like a new Zorro?
Yeah, I don't know when it came out. I think it came out, I don't know if it's last year or the year before, but we started watching it and we're like, what is wrong with the audio? And then we discovered that its original language was in Spanish.
Oh.
So we switched it over to that, and it's fine, totally fine. I much prefer watching things in their original language. If you meant commotion, I only accept them when they're craving absolute. What? Atomic, what does that mean? Anyways, Zorro, yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird, and I for some reason I feel like you might like it, Corvus, but it's I'm not sure if it's good yet. If that makes sense.
Is it following a premise or something, or like is it like the origin of Zorro, or is it like?
I couldn't tell you. Obviously not, because like it's tracking a new Zorro, but the old Zorro basically dies in like the first 5 minutes of the show. So it's weird. It's weird.
So a more brutal version of like the Antonio Banderas movie.
Maybe. It's very strange.
In that one, like, he fakes his death.
Ah. Zorro was essentially just like a superhero show, but for cowboys, right?
Well, he was like Mexican Robin Hood.
Okay.
Even though I think he was always kind of rich.
Yeah, he definitely has a Batman vibe to him, I think.
Yeah. I mean, his name literally just says the Fox.
The Fox, yeah. I don't know, like they're adding some weird mysticism into it, which is why I thought you might like it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But
so leaning away from Batman and more to the Shadow.
Yeah, maybe the Shadow or like Hollow Knight, Phantom. Why I prefer YouTube? Streams don't randomly have ads. That's good. Yeah. Did you go over to Twitch and get an ad break popped up? Sorry.
I got really annoyed with these ads. I was watching a longer video someone was doing, and it was just...
Diego de la Vega is dead? Sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Damn it.
Sorry, I just mean to derail you.
It's
The show is about Diego. He is the main character, but his predecessor.
yes, because it's always like... I guess you could almost think of it like the Phantom, which I don't know if you ever saw.
I saw the movie. Was there stuff? I think it was a comic like way before that, right?
Yeah, it was like an old it was from that old era of like comics, like the 40s and stuff.
But I didn't know anything about the Phantom when the Phantom came out. When I watched the movie.
The Phantom is like an inherited title that kind of from father to son keeps being passed down.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of what they're going for this time.
I just remember it was about ads. Yeah, I was watching this longer video, and it was just like every 2 minutes, if that, it was just another ad.
So when I was back starting YouTube, I had a video game channel where Jump Rope and I just played video games all the time, And with that, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I make YouTube work? And so I was, like, constantly watching videos and reading things. And there's a whole bunch of, I'm going to say, YouTube quacks out there. Kind of like health guru nuts, but like, this is how you become really successful on YouTube. And a lot of it is just like, put ads every 30 seconds. I'm like, why would people watch your videos then? And then they're like, make your videos about how people make money on YouTube. And it's like, this is a pyramid scheme. You're trying to tell people to make a pyramid scheme about YouTube. And I hate it. So, yeah, you can definitely... I'm fine with 2 or 3 ads. Like, Philip DeFranco does a good job with, I think, ad placement when he's doing his own ads.
Yeah. This was, like, clearly, like, YouTube putting in, like, ads at bots.
So right now, there's the way for the live stream specifically, there's, like, conservative, balanced, and aggressive. And it will decide when to place ads. Twitch, on the other hand, just like, we're doing 15 ads a minute, here we go. Or 15 ads it feels like that, doesn't it? 15 ads an hour. And they will just chunk them in there without giving me an option. I think I can skip one. I think I can skip 1 ad an hour or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting lots of ads for, like, Demi-Plane, but specifically, like, Vampire the Masquerade. For
Interesting.
As well as Roll20. So, like, the ads are very targeted.
I do have stuff up on Roll20. Maybe they know. Should just start. It's really funny. Like, I think a week or two ago, was it Atomic? It might have been Atomic. Asked, like, hey, do you know that people are selling these? And I was like, yes, that's my shop. Because that was in Discord. But like,
I remember that.
Yeah, so, like, I hope those are kind of getting... Draw rugby? All right, we'll draw rugby here. Oh, you want to draw a Cavalier? Are we still... What was the thing? Is it Dragons this month? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay, Cavalier Dragon. I think I'm done with this anyways. I think I'm good with that one. I'm going to move on to the next one. Draw your little Dragon Cavalier. Thank you, Atomic.
I know I sent you something last night.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny because... Atomic was asking, like, hey, check this out. And I was like, yeah, that's my shop. Like, I can put up shops now on YouTube of, like, here's some items that I can sell, which is fun. I think it's cool. I haven't designed anything besides the bird for it, so it's just, like, that's all it is right now. But if people have ideas for what they'd like to see in the shop, I can make, mugs, hats, shirts, whatever. And then, yeah, you posted the Gripply Pathfinder thing.
Yeah.
The Eldritch... I can't remember the publishing company now.
I know what. Well.
There are a few people who have licensed some of my artwork to put in their stuff, and I love it. I love seeing those things. People find those all the time. I also have one, I think... Eldritch Stream, yeah. I think they're on Roll20. They might be on... what was the one you sent me? Where's that posted now?
The one I sent you? It was a personal message.
No, I mean, like, where's the... Because that was on Twitter, I think, but, like, where was that trying to send you? Is that on Roll20, or is it on Kobold Press? It might be Kobold Press. It doesn't matter.
Apparently their own website.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, I like that kind of stuff. If you guys find my artwork anywhere, yeah, ask me about it. I think for them, they've got stuff for, like, they got some of my oozes, some of my Onis, some of my, I drew a few Onis for them. Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. Go check them out. I love it when people support artists instead of just, like, stealing it or doing AI art. So, yeah. I'm DMing for my friends. Any DM tips? Take your time. And I don't mean, like, spend lots of times doing whatever you're doing. Like, if you need a minute to take a break and take a breather, tell your party that. Like, take your time. Especially if things start getting really tense or someone does something that just, like, throws your story through a loop and you get mad. Like, that'll happen. You'll be like, oh, I didn't want you to do that. Just breathe, take a minute, tell everyone to go get a drink, take a break. You need 5-10 minutes to like decide the next course of action. That's totally fine. Totally fine. Never worry about keeping the pace of things over keeping the story going. So it's something I had to learn very early on, and it's really helpful. Sometimes you just have to call it for the day too. Like something weird happens and you're like, that's it. Like we're gonna have to cliffhanger it here because holy crap, was not expecting that. Nice job. And that's okay. It's totally fine. Don't take it too seriously and have fun with it. Wait, I'm gonna draw a little chubby dragon here. Would a dragon cavalier wear plate mail? Does he need plate mail? Is plate mail weaker than dragon scale?
That is a very good question that I don't know the answer to.
Fair. What kind of mount would a dragon ride? That's the other question. Or maybe he just has a saddle, but then he doesn't, like... He's his own mount.
Himself.
Yep. He just runs around with a lance.
I am my own dragoon.
What's with the saddle? It holds the banner. It said one word prompt. Yeah, exactly. That is a leftover from basically letting people do the rugby draw, which I think works. I think works for the. You can either do the super chat or you can go to Twitch and you can pay some channel points. But it should be simple. It's not something that's like it's not a huge commission because it needs to be fast. So we can get back to the viewer suggestion. The more I play with this, the more I just want to draw a cat. Dragons are just cats.
Oh.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was like, what did you say? But then you like kind of went on, and I was like, oh, okay.
Cats. Cat. What is that? Mars Invasion of Mars, whatever the hell they were. Mars Attacks?
Oh, when Mars attacks.
That sounds like Mr. Krabs. That's not right at all.
I mean,
posture check. Thank you.
Like,
wildly different.
yeah.
Okay, I gotta give him big old World of Warcraft paladin shoulders. If you're gonna be a cavalier, you gotta have the big shoulder pads. Maybe he's got a tiny little fat horse. How about that? Where do we draw a tiny little fat horse? Well, it just looks like a penis now. I don't know if he knows what a horse looks like. It looks like he's riding a capybara.
There you go. That's his mount.
Yeah, this is the tiny capybara. I love watching capybaras jump over things. I don't know what it is, but it's amazing.
There was a new, I mean, not super new, but there was like a trending capybara video of like, it was like a capybara at like a Japanese spa, and it's like being dunked on by the little
monkeys.
Ear clappers.
Oh.
Yeah, so you know like those little bamboo things that fill the far and then kind of dip out and clank? Those are like the scare away deer.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I didn't know that until, I don't know, 2 years ago.
Can you find a picture of one of those?
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I thought they were... The thing I'm thinking of was like... I thought it was a bell. It's part of why I like Twitch is also using my subprime for... Yeah. The Prime sub is actually nice. I like having that. It's nice that Twitch is owned by everything. Oh, Bezos. Why you gotta be so evil? You were supposed to be the chosen one. Do it.
There you go.
Oh! Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it fills up, and I don't know if you... And there's always a rock at the other end that when it...
So it tonks.
Back down. Yeah.
Alright, there's our Capybara Cavalier Dragon. I will shrink that down. Put it in the corner over here. I always called them feeding bird sticks.
Oh.
Little dippy birds. I don't know what those are called. Alright, I'm rolling some dice. Here we go. A 20. Plasmoid. Path of the Beast. Ooh, that sounds fun. Simple. Short. I like it. What color are we doing here? Red? Ooh, that's going to be real weird. Cosmic, welcome in. A cooler. Okay. A red Path of the Beast ooze. Dragon Knight. We doing literal Pokemon? No, that was just it's Draguary. Atomic paid for a tiny Cavalier Dragon riding a capybara. The little dippy birds don't seem to have a ubiquitous name. No, I think they're just like desk toys or...
Yeah, because I know it's based off, like, temperature.
Yeah. It's like a perfect equilibrium, and then the bottom gets slightly warmer, and it causes convection. Blah, 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 blah. My pen nib is all kinds of jacked up, so I'm going to replace it real quick if I can find my extra nibs. Where would that have gone? I guess I'm not going to replace it. Whatever. It's got a flat spot. Okay. We don't want to draw Venom, even though we could. So what's a good feral pose for an ooze critter? I got the space. Maybe I should do some pose sketches first. I want to go like Wolverine a little bit, maybe. That could be fun.
Or that Clayface, maybe?
Is Clayface kind of feral though? I mean, I guess he's definitely monstrous for sure.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if he's got that feral vibe. Just Badger Man. Capybara. It didn't specify the beast. The Capybara ooze. The Bagara Panther peering down from the tree would be menacing. True. Yeah, that would be more kind of down here, which is just going to look like goopy ooze. Do you get just straight up... You get beast attacked. You don't actually get beast shape, do you? With the Path of the Beast?
It's like you grow...
You go like natural weapons, right?
Yeah, so like you can grow a tail attack, a horn attack... No, not a horn. A bite attack, or like claws.
I thought you could get a horn attack for like a gouge or a charge.
No, so it's
That might be my own video. I might be quoting myself.
maybe because like the three options that they give is like for the three physical damage types.
Okay.
Claws are slashing, the jaws are piercing, and the tail is bludgeoning.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I want to go. I want to go with Wolverine. I think that would be really cool. So I need to look up a good Wolverine pose.
Feral Wolverine, X-Men.
None of these are as cool as I thought they were. That one's pretty good. That one is pretty good. Do the head down a little bit. Then we'll get like a whippy ooze tendril over here. A pseudopod, if you will. Pull the arms back. And then this is going to be very rigid, very straight up and down here. So bleh, bleh. The rib cage that the ooze doesn't have. Get the abs in here. This should be very long though. Blah, 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 blah. Poor Wolverine. They beat the hell out of him in the comics. I posted a video based off of... It was a stitch of someone talking about the werewolf railgun.
Yes.
Which is great. Because they're... And the thing was, like, if werewolves can't be hurt except by magical means or... Silver, if you drop them from Orphit, do they take any damage? To which I would say, no, not really, because like they don't have lethal fall damage. They just don't. A werewolf can fall from any height and be fine. A pouncing saber-tooth tiger tearing something in half. That could be. I had a Way of the Beast Warforged in a campaign. That sounds pretty cool. But a lot of people were saying, like, what about fire damage? Wouldn't that hurt him? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Fire isn't technically magical. And, like, it's not inherently magical.
Yeah.
And I don't know if werewolves have a weakness to fire. I don't think they do.
I don't think so. Yeah. Because, like, that's something they've always had, like, for a long time. It's just like, you can't really hurt a werewolf or any other creature.
Yeah,
unless you're using silver.
They are cursed to basically be nigh invulnerable. Because otherwise, you know, the best way to get out of an evil curse is just off yourself. Yeah, that's not a good curse. So I just think it's fine. Like, it doesn't really, I don't think it really affects anything. But it is funny. It is kind of a funny idea that you could basically launch a werewolf from orbit. Werewolves can't take damage from non-magical weapon attacks. They don't suddenly get Toon Force. That is a good point. The fact that it's like magical weapons. Can they still be attacked by just fall damage is not an attack. That is true, but they are resistant to bludgeoning damage, which fall damage is bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing with barbarians. Like, do you consider the fall damage equal, like, when they're raging, should they take half damage from fall damage? I think so. I do think so. It seems a little weird, like, on paper, when you just kind of, like, when you're looking at it. But at the end of the day, like, flavorfully, I think that's totally fine. They have a weakness to their own smell when wet. What? I don't know about this, but I could see an argument being made. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with it. Is where I was getting at. It's like I don't think it really affects anything. Because if you throw a werewolf off a cliff, like, You really expect that to stop it? I don't.
Yeah,
Like,
it may slow it down.
it may slow it down, yeah, for sure. But like that is classic horror monster, right? Like, unless you see the creature die, it is not dead. Period. So I'm totally fine with that. Dropping it from orbit is a little weird because, like, how did you put a werewolf in orbit?
Yeah.
The difference with barbs is they just resist bludgeoning damage in general while raging. Yeah, but like, don't werewolves have that passively? And maybe it's a 5e thing, but
I mean, for me, it makes perfect logical sense. However, you also gotta think, how are players going to even get a were creature in orbit?
right.
So it's just like,
Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. So there is, yeah, I think what you're saying is a fair, a fair interpretation of the rules. But the intent of the rules, I think, is a little ambiguous if you do it that way, because that opens up to things like, well, if it's not an attack, then it can still die, so I'll just, make a trap that it accidentally walks into. Or if I make it trip down the stairs, then it dies, because that's not an attack, right? So I think it's a little disingenuous, but at the same time, I see where you're coming from. So that goes down to a word lawyer argument. But with 5e, it is just bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So technically, yeah, fire would still hurt it. Maybe it does burn up.
Because they're not immune to like energy attacks, which fire is an energy. So that to me makes pretty logical sense.
Yep. It also depends on when you say from orbit, that does make a difference, because like the only reason you would take fire damage is if you are entering from a stable orbit, and not specifically a stable orbit, but like the reason that there is so much heat on re-entry is because you are going, if you are going fast enough to be in orbit, to actually orbit the whole planet, you are traveling so fast that when you start entering the atmosphere, you're actually skidding off the, like, you're falling. You feel like you're falling this way because you're going towards the Earth, but really when you hit the atmosphere, you start burning off this way because you're actually traveling way faster this way than you are down. And you kind of skip. You kind of skip on the air. So if you got thrown into, like, up, if you got thrown up and you came straight down, I don't think you would burn up. I don't think you would. Because you're technically going, hey, yeah. It's weird. Lycanthropes don't have regeneration.
I will also say, like, because like the only way you could ever like get a werewolf like anywhere near like to the closest to the atmosphere is like either succeed for a wizard or a barbarian a wizard has cast fly on to grapple said werewolf to use like 10 rounds to go up in the sky, or a like high level wizard, like I don't know, 18th, 19th wizard uses reverse gravity.
See, reverse gravity would be interesting because it would just float up. Yeah, and then it would float straight down. No fire.
Do you land gently, or if you stop it, do you just normal gravity takes hold and drags you to the ground?
For my understanding, specifically with that spell, because that's how people use it, is they turn it on and then just instantly turn it off.
Yeah.
So I think the intent of that one is that whereas the fly spell usually has a contingency so you don't die horribly. Yeah. Usually.
Hence why I say like a barbarian grappling them and letting go.
Yeah.
But again, the barbarian wouldn't be able to like survive like the Thanatos.
Yeah. Since they only have resistance, they can still definitely take take some damage. But there is the so terminal velocity is really cool, and I talk about this from time to time because of the way terminal velocity works. There should be a set amount of damage you can take from falling. Like once you reach that point, you stop taking damage. And the thing with terminal velocity is that it sounds like the speed at which you would go to die, but it's actually the speed at which you will fall based on your shape and size. So once you figure that out, you just have to calculate what is the maximum speed, and then that's the fall damage you should be taking. So if you fall off something and you reach your velocity, that's the maximum amount of damage you should take from a fall. And anything, if that doesn't kill you, you can fall from any height because you're only ever going to be going that fast. So now also note that fall damage is 20d6. Oh, there is a maximum fall damage. Okay.
I also would like to say or ask. So with reverse gravity.
Okay.
In 5e 7th level spell. It creates a 50-foot radius, 100-foot high cylinder. Does that mean like you can't go past the 100-foot cylinder?
So my intent, not my intent. I think the intent was you create this field, right? Mm-hmm. And so anything in that field just no longer has gravity. So everything in that is weightless, or reverse gravity.
Unless
sorry,
get like a solid object.
Yeah.
Prevents them from going any higher.
Because if you do this outside, it's essentially going to launch people. They're going to fall 100 feet. But there has to be a limit, otherwise they just go into space and the fight ends. Yeah. Right? That spell would just instantly end any fight forever. So, but the other thing that I've seen with it is like that's what you use to make like a flying ship. So it does have a I think, and then in that way, if you enchant something with that spell, the ship now has the anti-gravity on it. And I think that can move with it. So I think, but that's if you're enchanting an object. I don't know. For 5e, the fall at 500 feet around. You fall at 500 feet around. That feels like a lot. I'll have to check that. That's 6 seconds, right? It says 100 feet a second. 98. Yeah, that might be right. That might be pretty close. All things eventually reach the same fall speed. That is not necessarily true. If in a vacuum, yes. In a vacuum, all things fall at the same speed because it is the gravimetric constants on Earth, which is weird. So, physics is a pain in the ass because you have to stipulate those things, which is why when you go to like make a video game or a game like D&D, people that argue like, well, it's not based on physics. It's like, well, the rule makers had to make a concession and agree what the physics are for this specific game. So,
yeah,
human real world physics don't always work for all games and stuff. I think I was looking at something with like Breath of the Wild. Someone tried to like find the physics, and Link is some kind of demigod. Like, at the amount of height he can jump and carry things and throw things.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think we should throw out physics and everything, but like maybe not be totally bogged down by it some days.
Yeah.
When designing games and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that like for most real world jumping is not fun. Like,
oh, yeah.
If jumping is a mechanic in your game, you have to change the way physics work.
Because like, what is it like? A long jump in 5e is like a 10-foot jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's far for a human to jump.
Especially carrying anything.
Oh yeah.
In 5e, I think that the high jump is like 4 or 5 feet plus your strength. So it's just like, oh yeah, that barbarian can jump 12 feet in the air, whatever. It's like, excuse me? Is that including their reach, or can they flat vertically jump 12 feet?
It's just like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Because it's like, another thing is like drinking a potion while in combat. It's like, can you really jug I don't know, a good-sized Christmas orange filled with probably not exactly good-tasting liquid
I saw
in 6 seconds?
I saw a TikTok yesterday of like that's how this group would let you heal. Like they had basically like if it's a regular healing potion, it's a shot, and then if it's a medium, it's a beer, and then if it's like a bigger beer,
Like a grater.
Yeah, like one of the tall boys or whatever the hell they're called, and like
Stein.
and so whenever if you wanted to heal, you could heal at any point, but you had to drink it within 6 seconds. Like that was the thing, you had to down it, and so it's just like, oh man, that would kill me. There's no way I could do that. That doesn't make sense. How are you meant to react to falling if you're effectively on the ground the moment you start falling? What do you mean, Cosmic? If you are effectively on the ground the moment you start falling. Are you talking about the speed at which people fall? The way I've always run the game, if I think I know what you're talking about, is if you are falling off a cliff, like on your turn, it's your turn, and someone throws you off a cliff, you first get a reaction to not fall, right? So I give you that initial Bob's world building is a descent resource for if rules like that make sense. I have no idea what you're talking about, Cosmic. I'm very confused now. The way I'll go back to this. The way I always run it is you get a chance to save yourself, and then if you don't save yourself that turn, you immediately fall 10 feet, and then at the end of the round, you fall the rest of it. Like, so I give everybody the rest of the round to try to like react to it, and then you shift. I think for me, I thought it was like 120 feet. I thought people fell 120 feet, not 500 feet around. But that's kind of always the weird way to look at things, anyways. Because the rules is written, you can jump off of a cart, take your entire move action, jump back on the cart, and then at the end of the round, the cart moves. Right? Like, everything is moving in spurts and fits instead of just all at once. So.
Well, with 500 feet thing is like, that's only like determined like if you are like falling greater than 500 feet, I feel like.
That would make sense. So like the speed at which you travel through air if you are just taking your whole turn and traveling, not like a fall speed.
Because like say you get knocked off a, I don't know, 15-foot ledge. Like, you're not immediately falling 500 feet that instant.
Right.
That would just kill you.
And exactly, yeah. And some of the books, I think, are written that way, to where they are supposed to... And yes, Monica, this is a plasmoid. Glad the buffering has been figured out. Some of the books are written to a way that it sounds like that's what's supposed to happen. Like, if you are falling, so like falling is a condition. That's why you get the reaction to not fall. But then, if you are falling, you fall 120 feet on your turn. And it's just like, okay, and dead. And like that's why everyone, I think, wants to suplex and like kick people off cliffs. Because it's just like, I'd like to use my action to make somebody take 20d6 damage, please. And it's like, that doesn't feel right.
This cliff is not big enough for that.
Yeah. It's almost as if they never factored in acceleration. Right. They didn't. Because at the same time, like I said, like everything is set in stages of 6 seconds. And so that system inherently doesn't make sense. Because if you're at the top of the round and you start falling, it takes, I think for a person, I think it's like 6 to 11 seconds to reach terminal velocity. That might be too long. It might be 3 to 6 seconds. But either way, like, yeah, you start falling here, and then at the end of the round, you need to be traveling, the 9.8 meters per second squared, times your whatever mass. God, it's been a while since I looked at that stuff. And that just doesn't make a lot of sense. to have to equate that. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, and in a game set, it makes way more sense to just have falling be static. Yep.
Because, like...
And some game engines do it pretty well. Like, you can have those kind of things in there. And older game engines, actually, a lot of them didn't have them. Like, Mega Man is a very, very static platformer. And that's why the jumps feel so tight, because everything is uniform, and so you can be very predictable. Where a lot of newer games try to put that fall in there, and it's more intuitive when you're playing like a real high fidelity game. But when you're playing a platformer, it feels like shit. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, and then you have to take into account like wall physics and stuff like that, and friction, and it's a whole thing.
Because, like, Dark Souls games are kind of funky about falling, because it's like, oh, you fall where you're not supposed to fall, you're dead. Like, even though there is, like, I don't know, this is like a 20-foot drop, sure, I may take some damage and have a broken leg, but it ain't gonna kill me.
They equate dexterity into fall damage too.
They do?
Yeah, the higher your dexterity is, the less damage you take from falling, and so different.
No idea about that.
Yeah. That I think.
Sorry.
No. This is a cool thing to talk about, like, because they have the cat ring in the older games, which just halved your fall damage, and so like that was great because then you could jump off high stuff and nothing happened. But the problem was, like, if I was playing a character that was high dex and then I started playing a low dex character, I'd think like, oh yeah, I'll be fine, and then I'd just die, and it's like, well, shit. So like you have to relearn heights and damage implications based on which character you're playing and what level you are, and that's frustrating to me.
And then there are cases where it's like, I don't know if you ever got to this tower in Elden Ring. It's one of the, like, divine towers where you unlock the runes. It has a basement, and there's a part where you jump on this ledge, and it falls with you.
Yeah.
Like, that would kill you.
Yeah. No, there's a couple of places like that too, where like the floor falls out from below you, and they're just like, oh, this is the funny thing. If you're playing with multiplayer, if you are the one that steps on the trap and you fall, totally fine. If you are right here, the trap falls, and then you step off, you die.
Yeah.
Like,
That happens
no difference.
when you're not even in multiplayer, because that's happened with me, because I've, like, triggered a trap, but, like, managed to not, like, fall.
Yeah. So they with those, they do code in like your falling state, right? But yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You have to suspend your disbelief for those kind of things.
Oh yeah.
And Druid would, if Druid was here, I'm sure Druid would talk about physicist brother complaining about D&D, which is totally legitimate. But at the same time, I don't think you should do that. Because physics, one, not meant to be that strict in this game. They have their own physics sense, so you just follow what the book says. And two, physics are not dice. So as soon as you start using dice instead of raw numbers, your math is always going to be a little bit janky. So, because you have to do things in chunks of percentages instead of raw numbers, which Dark Souls can't do, which is why they have that thing with the dexterity. They're just like, yeah, well, just every point of dexterity increases your fall damage by, or increases your fall distance by 2 feet or some crap like that.
I had no idea about that.
It might not be the same for Elden Ring, but that was all the way up to Dark Souls 3. You could reduce your fall damage by increasing your dexterity to a point, like. Yeah. Back to werewolves raw. You can kill a ghost with a stick, but not a werewolf. Can ghosts get hurt by sticks?
No, because...
Don't you need a ghost touch weapon? Oh, 5e is weird, remember? 5e is mushy. I think you can kill a ghost with a stick.
I know.
5e ghost!
Yep. I feel like they're, like, unless it's a magical stick.
I don't know. They are resistant to... They'd be resistant to the damage, but eventually you could kill a ghost with a stick.
Yeah.
Yep. Mind you, you can't kill them with a freezer. Prone restraint. Yep, cool. Alright, I think I'm about done with this bad boy. I need to get more water real quick, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Everybody hang tight.
Hang loose.
Okay, we're back. Getting weapons modified in any way is cost prohibitive. This, I assume, also contributes to the material casters divide. Oh, like having to pay to get a cold iron blanch or something on your weapons? Yeah. Something I've noticed with that is people's, like, reluctancy to switch weapons. And I think that's just kind of just the community not matching the developer's intent. Right. So, like, I think a lot of developers are thinking, oh, if you're fighting ghosts, you'll just buy a cold iron dagger or a ghost touch weapon. Yeah, and use that. It's like, why would I do that when I have, like, an artifact weapon? It's like, why do you have an artifact weapon at level 3? Like, because that's how we like to play the game. So,
yeah, that definitely feels like the case. It's like, I mean, I will switch up weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I've played.
I've built a few.
Like,
Go
I'm
ahead.
still like restricted on like what weapons I like need or can use for all like the classes I have. Because like I need a like finesse or agile weapon, so that kind of limits the type of weapons I can pick. So I just like have 2 weapons I switch between.
There's no reason that someone, you say a mercenary who trains for decades to fight with an iron sword can't fight a werewolf. Why can't they just pick up the same kind of sword but different, or coat it with silver, or blanch it with silver, or fire, make it magical? It's not hard, and there's enough ways to like thematically in the story make that happen that I think a lot of people just don't. It's not that big a deal. In the grand scheme of things, like all the games I've played, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Because it's like...
I rolled an 11, by the way.
Nice.
A cuttlefish-headed frog druid princess from Pathfinder 2E. Cuttlefish-headed frog? Is it a frog if it has a head of a cuttlefish? I feel like I've drawn this before. Is that like a legit thing?
I don't know.
I typed it into Google, and Google's like, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to write. It's like, that doesn't exist. Cuttlefish. Huh.
Maybe they just wanted to have a frog that has a cuttlefish head.
Wacky character concepts. What if it's a frog but has the head of a pumpkin? I don't understand the internet anymore. You know what? I don't get it, but whatever. We're gonna draw it. Here we go. Purple. Sweet. If you're trying to start a fight between melee and casters, yeah, I don't think it's there. I think it's a lot of anger. Magic is just going to be inherently powerful, which is why fighters, barbarians, and other melee classes have so much more functionality and like defense. You need both. You need both. One is going to have a higher damage burst, and the other one's going to have more sustainability, because you can't run out of spell slots if you got a sword. Color, red, blurt.
I will argue that in Pathfinder, the most powerful class is not a spellcaster, but in fact is the fighter, because they can literally do anything they want.
Yeah, they're super powerful. It's great. It's great. I love it.
It feels like it's the only fleshed out class. That's my only issue.
I really do think Pathfinder 2nd Edition, we talked a little bit about this, but I think it's worth reiterating, because I played with the rogue a little more. I really do feel like the core classes, like I think they want everyone to play a core class and then blend into other stuff. So like, yeah, it definitely feels that way with the fighter. The fighter's just like, you want to be a melee, start with a fighter, and then get weird with it. Like, go from there. But, like, then they have the Magus, which is kind of that anyways. And so it's like, why would I do Magus when I could just do Fighter Wizard? It's like, yeah, the same thing happens. So.
Yeah, because my one issue with, like, the archetype system, it really is probably my only real issue, is the different, like, actual classes. Not, like, the weird, like, Dragon Disciple stuff, but like if you want like multi-class in the other classes, they are just so limiting in like what you can do with them. Like the highest level feat you can get from a multi-class class is like maybe 6 if you're lucky.
Right, and that's why I feel like you're really just not supposed to play those, which is kind of weird. Like, it feels like they didn't develop them for that purpose. Yeah. It's like they're just there for the secondary use. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that yet. Eat Root, welcome in.
Large casting. Because, like, a level 10, if I was, like, take a cleric and multiclass into druid, like, I would have, like, 3 cantrips and, like, 3 spells, and only 1 for each level. And it's just like, that's... like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm okay with having less in Pathfinder, because there's so much more reactionary stuff. E-Root asks if we discovered your YouTube channel through shorts like 3 days ago. I just wanted to ask if your pure interest. Have you ever looked at GURPS? Because I kind of stopped playing D&D after finding GURPS group. Still love your content. Seen so far. Nice. I've not looked into it too much. There's quite a few creators that do. I know OKSDM and Indestructible have both talked about it on their streams, and I've looked at it a little bit that way, but that's about the only little bits I've had. I don't play 5e that much anymore. 5e for me is essentially like a gateway into letting people play other games. So it would not surprise me if GURPS was awesome and fun.
I don't know what GURPS is.
I don't remember what it stands for, but I think it's, if I remember right, it's essentially a lower roll. Is that what it is? The gateway drug is 5e. Exactly. Yeah. It's more role play heavy, and I think it uses a D5 system or a D6 system. Oh. I might be wrong with that. I don't know if GURPS is D20. General universal role playing system. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like how Sagas is working, which is where it's just supposed to be kind of completely agnostic. You can play whatever you want with it, and so I don't think there's so much a rule set of this is how you play a fighter. You're just like, I'm gonna be Superman this time around, and it's like that works. That totally works. And then it just has rules for like laser beams and stuff. It's pretty cool.
No, I'm not a big fan of like kind of castless systems. Or classless systems. Like there's one system that I kind of like, but it's like I never hear anyone actually talk about playing it. So
is that I'm gonna guess. I was gonna say, I can't remember what it's called now. I was gonna say
it's like
Knives in the Dark or something.
No, it's like Stenobium, something like that. It's a Swedish game. It's like Knives in the Dark is like what Candela Obscura is based on, and they still have classes that you like pick. And I am not the biggest fan of like. I like having a roadmap for my characters.
Sure. Yeah, you only need 3d6 to play, and it lowers better. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? Like,
yeah.
As much as I love, like roguelike. There's roguelike video games. There's a shit ton of different types of roguelike video games. So like. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of get caught up. I keep saying a lot of people, but like, I've talked to a lot of people that get caught up on 5e being like the end all be all. It's like, it's not in 5e, I'm upset. It's like, yeah, try to do something else. Play something else. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many options. And then you can also just make your own. 100% legitimate. Cat, what are you doing? I'm causing trouble. If I turn around and you're eating Skip Cat's food, I'm going to lose it. Skip Cat's food's gone. Awesome. I missed it. It doesn't have classes or levels, but then it has rules for all technology ages. It's highly customizable rewards players for taking disadvantage. Yeah, nice. That sounds fun. How many encounters do you run before each long rest on average? I usually only do long rests at the end of I want to say at the end of I do a checkpoint system when I play games. So when you say encounter, I run things a lot more like how a dungeon is run, right? So like if I have a set place, my players start here. There's a big boss fight. They have all of the little things happening, and then there's a floor down or like a stopping point. So my players are pretty well taught to like, we could probably clear this whole floor before we leave. And then when we're done here, we can rest. That's generally how I do it. So like Druid, on the other hand, seems to be his encounters, like one encounter wipes the party out. Like I think that's more of what he builds. So Druid, I think, pushes more for one encounter per long rest. But that's also because we're playing a serialized game. So it makes more sense for it to be that way. I like lots of little encounters and then a big boss encounter, because that way you don't just walk into the boss room at 100%. Like deciding how to fight smaller encounters and deal with like kind of mundane tasks and adventuring stuff before you get to the boss fight, I think makes people think more, because they can't just always drop their biggest spell right out of the gate, you know? I have played games where people do that. They just walk in, they want to burn every single thing they have, and then they're like, yep, we're not moving forward until we rest now. And it's like, okay, people will die, but that's fine. Like, that's the choice you make. I think fundamental issue with 5e is that your argument stops working when casters don't run out of spell slots. Casters are balanced for 6 encounters, but 1 to 3 encounters is the most common. Where are you getting that casters are balanced for 6 encounters? When we played Baldur's Gate, I think we did like 3 or 4. Because like with my wizard, I could basically cast my highest level spell and then get my highest level spell back. So that's 2 encounters, because like your highest level spell is probably going to end the encounter if done right. At least you do that and then like 2 level 1 spells. So it should be your main burst, your refresh, which is with the wizard, it's like your spell slots, your spell, whatever the hell they're called.
Arcane Recovery?
Yeah, Arcane Recovery, thank you. And then 1 encounter of just like your leftover stuff. So like 3 is pretty good. Fighters, the short rests, you're good to go. Like it's just nonstop. So
same with Warlocks.
Yep. It's just like you just do it. Just do it. And so like there's limitations for like Baldur's Gate will have you only able to do 2 short rests. Warlocks are a little broken, and by a little broken, I mean very broken, and by that I mean they break the game, because they are cantrip casters, and so they don't need anything. They're just like, fuck it. Like, oh, but I only have 2 spell slots. It's like, you don't use those. You never use those. Yeah. What are you talking about? So, yeah. Casters are balanced for 6 encounters. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I really don't know how you're getting those numbers. I'm interested. Like, you can tell me what you mean by that, but I don't understand that. Yeah, because not all things are balanced. I was playing an Abjuration Wizard, and my big thing every time was I wanted to use all of my level 3 and 4 spell slots for casting Arcane Ward to get my shield up. That's all I did with them. And so as soon as I was out of that, I now had a timer of, okay, I have like 24 Arcane Shield points. As soon as that's out, I have to rest or I'm dead. And then I use my level 5 and my level 6 spells, which I think I had 2 and 1, for just damage. Just like Fireball, done. Lightning Bolt, done. Circle of Death, right? So you get 3 casts, which is 3 turns. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's 1 or 5 encounters. So, and then if you have 6 encounters and you use 4 of them and then you have a boss fight, like, you're going to be in trouble. So, yeah, I'm a little curious about what you mean by that. Same thing with druids. Like, druids can, if you're counting spell slots, you have to equate in your animal form too, because it's all functionally different. Anytime somebody wants me to draw a cuttlefish, I feel like they want me to draw it super cute, but I don't know. This one's a princess, so I'm probably gonna go more cutesy than Mind Flayer. When in doubt, derp it up.
Princess Nomino of Cuttlefish.
Yeah. I hope this isn't somebody's weird fetish that I'm drawing.
I doubt it.
I want them froggy and fishy, please. I did draw frog feet. I sadly need to leave as my internet's getting worse. Have a good day. Yeah, no problem, Eater. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for telling me about GURPS. I'll have to check it out sometime. I don't know if I'm ever going to find a place to play it, but I know enough people that like it that it probably could. I've also gone through a lot of encounters where, like, you don't have to use anything. So.
This depends on the encounter.
Yeah. Do cuttlefish have weird eyes? I feel like they have weird eyes.
Yes, they have like little W-shaped eyes.
W-shaped eyes?
Yes, like
Not goats.
no, more like the bad guys from the first prequel movie of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were all weird, like cuttlefish people. The Trade Federation.
Yes, I don't know if they actually even have like an actual name.
I think they're from the same planet as the calamari. I'm not sure. I think they do.
I know there is a group of squid people who ironically are not called the calamari.
Right.
That are from Mon Calamari.
That might be what I'm thinking about. There are 2 Jeremy Crawford quotes that state that 5e is balanced for 6 to 8 encounters. Casters are supposed to run out of gas. Okay. Yep, I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, maybe if you're specifically running their adventure paths.
That would make sense because those are based on much smaller encounters, right? Mm-hmm. So that would be closer to like the floor, because if you think about trying to think of some of the adventure paths I've played. Yep, that's Lost Mines of Phandelver. That's right. Like you have the initial assault, you have the exploration of the cave, that leads into the gate, the goblins at the gate, and then it splits off into the prison room and the main entrance. So depending on how you look at it, there's 4, possibly 5 encounters in that. But you can circumvent all of them by like a good diplomacy check. Hey, take me to your leader, right? 1. so like yeah. The other thing about Baldur's Gate when I was playing it, once again, is the arcane recovery. I say would give me like 3 good bursts, but I don't always have to use that, right? So if you have 3 big gas buttons, I could definitely see doing 3 to 6 encounters. But yeah. My Pathfinder game that I'm playing, I'm having them do a haunted house. And they have not gotten to the big bad yet, and I've had them do 3 separate initiative orders. The first one ended in 1 round. It was not a big thing. Do you count that as an encounter? I don't know.
Theoretically. I feel like an encounter is any time you ever have to roll dice.
Sure. Yeah, because like a puzzle should be an encounter. That should count as an encounter.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those.
May not actually be in a combat encounter.
Mm-hmm. This is one of those things where the DM does half the balancing of the game. Yeah, I think that's their job. I don't think they imagined a caster being able to win combats without buying resources. Shields do run out of resources. A melee fighter will eventually run out of hit dice. And the archer can run out of arrows, exhausting it. Still mechanics that hurt martials primarily. Cosmic, this is another, like, I feel like you're just trying to start an argument, and I don't see the argument. So I don't agree. If you're saying that like an archer runs out of arrows and they're useless, then you've built your archer wrong. If your melee fighter runs out of hit dice, then, I mean, if anybody runs out of their hit dice, they die. So like that's why they have more, because they have the bonus to that compared to the spell slots.
Yeah.
So like I think it's pretty well balanced. I don't see an issue with it. Exhaustion is still mechanically that hurts martials primarily. Yeah, but if you're a wizard, like, you're already so weak and you get exhausted, like, you're hosed. If your encounters are only combat based, then it's going to feel like the wizards are very powerful. But like, your wizards need to be dealing with traps. They need to be dealing with terrain issues. Like, they need to be rolling a lot of stuff. And that could be part of the thing that would balance your game out more. You might just be too combat heavy to deal with that. Grapple, like, people should be grappling your wizards. They need to be trying to do that, and then they have to burn spell slots to avoid it. Just like, and that's where the melees get like a huge bonus, because they have the higher will or like acrobatics and athletics and stuff. Yeah, your ranger, if they use a bow, you should still be able to stab somebody 100%. Recovering arrows is a mechanic that I love putting in my games. I generally don't have people worry about their ammo unless it's specialty ammo. That I do agree that needs a little bit of shifting. Like, a magical arrow should not cost 1,200 gold. That's stupid. It's idiotic and stupid. Pathfinder used to have a system of magical items. Like, if you wanted a magical item but for a bow, you either enchanted the bow itself, or you could spend the price to get like 50 arrows, and then I would only have those arrows expend if they succeed. Like, if you fire a fire arrow and it misses, it doesn't go off. You can go pick it up. So yeah, a wizard having 4 or 6 level of exhaustion, you still end a fight. Fighter gets 2 and starts falling apart. I mean, yeah, you don't want your fighters to get you don't want your fighters to get exhausted, and you don't want your mages to get stupefied. Like, yep. What was it? Like, a fun way to shut down wizards is to just make the room really loud. There was a, like, silence, like, shuts off so many spell casting, which I think is really funny.
I'd like to say that just the first level of exhaustion is really detrimental, because it's ability check, disadvantage on ability checks. That could take out anyone.
Yeah.
That could take out barbarians. That could take out a sorcerer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, if your wizard has a level of exhaustion, you're like, I don't care, and then they slip into a small river, they die. They just straight up die. So if you feel like your players are not being punished for having exhaustion, you're not running your environments correctly. Like, that's the issue that is.
Stage 2, your speed is halved, which for a wizard is pretty detrimental, because if something runs up on you, you're not going to get away as fast.
But what if you have Misty Step? All of my friends, whenever they play any kind of wizard, Misty Step. They all have Misty Step, and I'm like, I get how super effective this is. But come on.
And then, like, stage 3 is disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws.
Yeah, which is rough.
Mm-hmm. feel like for me, because stage 3 definitely feels like a thing for like people who do make attack rolls. A lot of spells don't necessarily need to make attack rolls.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would tack on. You have, I don't know, have a way of incorporating a harder time of casting spells. That's like the only thing I probably would add to stage 3.
Sure, you could add, like, with exhaustion, having a spell failure rate, which they removed from 5e in most situations, which kind of bummed me out. You are also weaker at concentration checks, which is sucky. Yeah. You should be getting disadvantage on spell attack rolls. It is a little weird because of the way the saves system works. Like, your spell DC doesn't go down because you're tired. So I can see what you're saying there.
Sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, good. I was thinking about, essentially, like, a forced march could kill a wizard super easily.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Because like stage 4 is super rough. Hit points maximum reduced by half.
yeah, that just makes you get just one-shotted as a wizard.
Yeah.
I barely need to see to throw a fireball. Yeah, fireball is legitimately overpowered. Like, that is something that is always intentionally so. Yeah. So if you're playing a wizard just to throw fireballs, you're building an OP character on purpose. So they actually came up with a solution in one D&D where the spell DC went down with exhaustion. They scrapped it. Weird. It must not have been fun. Like, that would be my guess.
Because the thing is, you also have, there is like balancing the game, but you also have to like balance the game where it's still fun for the players and DMs to run.
Yeah, I really hate the mentality of X is bad because X is better or Y is better. It's like, if what are you playing for? Are you just trying to find the most OP character to play? Because I hate playing games like that, and I don't focus on it very often.
So there's like no winning.
Yeah.
Just flat out, you're not winning a prize at the end.
Yeah, you're just trying to have fun. And so, like, for me, I like playing weird characters. I made a Batman puppet. Super fun.
Yes.
Does it do a ton of damage?
Strong one too.
Yeah, that one happened to be a little higher damage. I think I was doing it wrong the first time we played, to be totally honest, because I think I'm only supposed to get gravity weapon on the first attack in a round, and I think I was applying it to everything. So he's a little less damagey now, but he's still a really good character. But like, the idea of, I can't play this because Warlock is more powerful. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, let Warlock be powerful. And I have a few friends that, like, that is their play style. They want to play optimally in any game we play, and like, we don't fight about it, but like, there's contention there. Because a good example of this is like when we used to play World of Warcraft. One of my friends would just be, whenever a new expansion would come out, he would have to look and see which was the highest DPS character, highest DPS class, and he's like, nope, that's what I'm playing this season because it's the best. And I'm just like, but why? And he's only interested in numbers. Like, yeah. And that's just Abjuration Wizard is so freaking fun because you're so tanky. It's like, I did not expect to be this tough. This is stupid.
It's kind of one of the few wizards that's on my list to play.
It's really fun, but it's stupid. Like, it's legitimately just like, what am I doing?
Yep. Then combine that with like the toughness feat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what I did.
Just to get a little bit more HP padding.
The funny thing is, like, you really don't need it. At one point, it got to the point where I was essentially like, I was using mage armor for most of the game, which doesn't scale. So it's like that's what I'm using all my level 1 spell slots on. But at a certain point, I was like, I'm just gonna start fucking wearing plate mail. Like, I'm now a walking tank covered in super shielding, and the only spells I cast that aren't Arcane Ward are Counterspell and Shield. That's it. That's the only 2 things I cast.
Which boosts your Arcane Ward.
Exactly, yeah. So you just walk around, and there were a lot of times when it's like I had like 23 or 24 Arcane Warding, and it's like I'm just gonna drop a nuke on myself because it's gonna give me more shielding, and I'm not gonna take 26 damage. So bloop, it was really funny. I just started wandering around, blowing up all the time. I never got hurt until we fought the demon guy, and then he like punched me in half. That was pretty weird because he critted for like 70 damage. But yeah. If X is good at 1 and 2, and Y is good at 1, 2, 7, and 45, that makes X look worse as a choice. Yeah, but you're saying that Y is also good at melee and being tough and surviving swimming checks, which I don't think is the case. I think X is good at 1 and 2, and Y might be good at 5, 6, 9, 12, 13, 16, 17. One character is more versatile than the others, is what that means. It doesn't mean they're better. They're just different.
So, being versatile is not always, like, the best thing to be some days. Because it's like, if you have, like, I don't know, baseline, like, I don't know, plus 10 to all your checks. Not as big, that's a plus 5 to all your checks. Like, that, you can still fail easily over compared to someone who is, like, specialized.
I think I'm about done with this character. I don't know what else to do with them. I also don't know if I've drawn this Frogfoot well.
I will say my only
We're doing it.
big type of character I don't like playing are characters that are super mad. Like
Rage Barbarians?
No, so characters that rely on too many stats to comfortably play without being gimped.
That was the old cleric and the monk problem. It's like, oh yeah, you need dexterity and strength and wisdom and charisma, and it's like, okay, I can deal with that. It's like, oh, I'm also the tank, so it's like, oh, then you probably also need constitution. And it's like, what about int? Like, just dump int. You don't need it.
You're not gonna be the most skilled person here.
Yeah. Personally, I like to have a min-max towards concept. I prefer material. I love the idea of legendary swordsman in hiding. I'd min-max towards concepts. Yeah, and you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think if you keep looking at the game as, once again, like picking the most optimal, you're gonna feel bad because you don't get to play what you want to play. Rangers had it too. Yeah, Rangers had it too. Same thing. You need wisdom for certain parts of the build. You need intelligence and dexterity, and it's all over the place. And which I think is fine, because the opposite problem now that we're having is Warlock need charisma and Warlock good, or Monk need dexterity and Monk good. And it's like, dang it, there is a certain point where that kind of starts sucking. And that's one of the reasons we talked about. I love the idea of Constitution casting, because, but it just makes you so tough. I really think the only way that would work is if all of a sudden you had to use blood, like your own hit points for casting. Yeah. That's the only way I can see making that work. Which would be fun. I think it could be fun. Okay. I'm going to stop doodling this weird frog and roll another die. Bam! 3. A blind Kenku with a cane sword. And a fox familiar. We might be able to get the fox familiar in. I don't know. We'll find out.
The little pipe fox.
Little pipe fox.
It's basically like a fox snake.
A fox snake? We can do that. What color are we doing here? More purple. Okay.
I try to get blue, but no one wants blue.
People didn't want blue. I want to play the best version of a niche I can find. Yeah, I mean, the game is too varied for there to be a best. Because the qualifiers for what is best is subjective. It is subjective. So you really need to, if you just want to do the most damage, there's a build for that. If you want to do the most defense, there's a build for that. Like you can start doing that.
I think sorcerers are better spellcasters than wizards. Objectively, I'm probably one of the few only people who believe that.
Bry will die on that hill. So you're not alone. You're definitely not alone.
It's just, for me, it is the one thing that is probably the most min-maxy about the sorcerers is they have proficiency with con saves, so they're really good at concentration spells.
Yeah. Which I would argue should be a wizard thing. The wizard have to have the dedication to learn the magic, whereas the sorcerers, I feel can be a lot more flippant and maybe not have as much control over it.
Yeah, it makes sense for sorcerers to have proficiency in Constitution because their stuff is based on their bloodlines.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that makes sense. But I think that's probably why Warcaster exists as a feat. So it's you're a wizard who is specifically trained for battle. So it's I'll take Warcaster.
Yeah, I still think concentration checks should be will save. If you're not using your will to concentrate on something, what are you using it for? That's the thing. Well, Cannon, hello.
There's also no will saves in 5e.
Right. Yeah. That's fair. I keep conflating them with wisdom saves. But
honestly, I feel you could maybe I think there's an argument to make that charisma could count as a will, because it's you're asserting your personality, which you could argue is your willpower.
Thematically, that makes the most sense to me. I agree.
But then again, that's just racking on more stuff that charisma can do.
Yep. Which I don't think is inherently bad, because, it is bad to put everything on the one stat, but willpower, I think, needs to be a stat, and I liked it with, necromancy, using willpower instead of constitution. That's pretty fun. I like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I remember there was a combat build with a half ogre and a spiked chains. I have no idea what you're talking about. I like the idea that sorcerers are monocolor casters where wizards customize to their needs. Yeah. I think that's essentially what they are. They used to be a lot more restrictive, and wizards were a lot more loosey-goosey with what they could cast.
They still are.
They still are, but I remember the spell slot system for 5e, when I first started reading it, seemed really stupid. I think it works great. It feels very much very arcadey. But the prepared casting of wizards used to feel really restrictive. And I don't know if that's just because I didn't fully understand it when I played older editions. But I don't think, at least not in Baldur's Gate, you're not allowed. You can cast basically any spell you know. It's not required that you lock into place, and that's how it was with clerics too in old Pathfinder. You had that's the prepared caster, right?
Yeah, because you're way prepared casters work is kind of how spontaneous casters in Pathfinder work, where you can you have a list of spells that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Though in the case with Wizard, Cleric, and Druid is you can switch those out, but you can upcast them without needing to prepare them at a higher level.
Yeah. That to me is spontaneous casting, right? So I feel like wizards and sorcerers kind of became closer to the same thing in 5th edition. And now, I've said this argument a few times. Like I said, Bri will fight me on this every time. That I really think sorcerer should just be a subclass. A subclass or an archetype feat for anybody. If you're a warlock or a fighter and you have dragon blood, sweet. You get dragon powers. I don't know if it needs to be its own class. because it still makes sense to me that if you are a sorcerer, you're born with magic, you still go to the magic school and become a wizard. Like, you would just be a... The sorcerer should be like a subclass of wizard, in my mind. Or wizard could be the other way around. Who knows? I think there's a lot to be played with how classes actually work in comparison to each other that I think could stop multi-classing from kind of breaking the game the way it does now. And I hope with D&D 1, I hope that'll kind of... I hope they'll take a direction with it that will kind of clean some of that up. Because that's my biggest issue, is that there's an imbalance of function, I guess, between things like warlocks and sorcerers and so forth. And just the play style is just so wildly different.
I think the only time I probably would ever accept like a sorcerer as like a type of subclass or archetype type of deal is probably like if you just get rid of like wizard and sorcerer and like just make mage.
Yeah, I could see that. That would make sense. And then
it is very much just like getting rid of the terminology probably would help in that matter.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the thing. I think partially it is just the way like the nomenclature versus what's actually happening. Because like the arcane recovery, it feels like a sorcerer thing. Like, and the sorcerer points are supposed to be used for like meta magic and stuff, but like I feel like those could be the same thing. Like I feel like they could absolutely be the same thing.
Well, you can use sorcery points to get spells back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they feel very similar, which is just really weird to me. I already know Rook prefers 2E class design of the wizard, a fighter, and a healer. You could have made a cold damage point blank fireball? I'm lost, Cosmic. I don't know what we're talking about now. Sorcerers be like enchantment? Yeah, I think we've gone off the rails. I've lost the plot. I'm gonna draw this wizard. Or this birdman. Harvey Birdman. Whoop. There's a wizard, a fighter, and a healer. I like those three archetypes. Archetypes are great. Go up one more than the fireball. One D&D gave wizards the ability to straight up overwrite the effects of a spell. I think they scrapped it. I mean, it's still, you can still do that in Tasha's though. Just like switching the type of damage. My only when people do that, I just basically make them choose beforehand. So it's like if you want to cast ice fireballs, you only ever cast ice fireballs. So we can just get rid of the generalist casters and focus every type of magic into its own class. That could be interesting. Yeah, that would be a lot.
That's just me.
I mean, now we're getting into GURPS, right? Like now we are getting into like, which is fine. I said, you're not happy with it, make your own game. But that's 100% legitimate. Honestly, I really do think that the discrepancies between sorcerer and wizard are, I think Corvus, I think you're right. I think really what it should be is mage, and then you have the wizard build, which would be prepared, or the sorcerer bloodlines, which give you things, and then you could add a whole lot for the mage that would work for both of them, like 100%. Nutmeg, hello, welcome in.
Because that is very much kind of like how like Brennan explained it one day, how like wizards are spellcasters who have gone to school, while a mage kind of just denotes any type of spellcaster.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because like the thing I like doing like the Eldritch Knight is really interesting to me, but less about the cantrip casting and just more about like closer to the Magus. I really like the Magus idea of I'm a soldier. I use weapons. I know how to use weapons, and I know how to make them better. I know how to use magic in offensive ways. Like that feels very great to me. And like you can build that archetype with a ranger. You can build it with a fighter. And you can't really build it with a wizard, which just drives me crazy. It's like, no. I'm going to murder you with this sword made out of magic. like, why don't you specialize in that? That's really cool. And so that's the kind of thing that I always feel like is missing. Is like the Abjuration Wizard is pretty cool because it's tanky, but as soon as you start going into like a melee wizard, you switch classes, and it's like, all right, whatever, that's fine. So.
I will say, like, there is, like, spells that basically kind of turn you into a fighter as a wizard.
Yeah. Some of the dragon spells as well. Like, you can turn parts of your body into dragons, and you can make magical weapons as the cleric. Like, I really like that. I like that kind of stuff. That's generally where I head. But does it need to be its own thing? I don't know. Could it be its own thing? Absolutely. But it is some more work. Animated weapon would be the way to do that. That could be fun too, yeah. That'd be really fun. Part of like enchantment wizards, just summoning bunches of weapons. It's essentially what Cloud of Daggers is, but I mean, they gave wizards a class features that allow them to tweak the range, damage type, duration, and radius of any spell they know. Tossers only damage type. Okay, that's a different thing. Because that's essentially what the meta magic was too. Which I liked. I really liked that concept of being able to like make a spell, extend the range, extend the reach of it. I think that stuff was kind of fun. In some cases, I think dialect overpowers accent mannerisms.
Oh, are they watching from the beginning?
Uh-oh. Yeah, Nutmeg, did you watch the introduction? That would be really funny.
Because that's like at the very beginning.
Wish Megas was available in 5e. Yeah, it's just missing. It's complicated though, I think is why. It's essentially the Warlock. Like you can build a Magus build with the Warlock pretty easily. Just use like Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade.
Booming Blade.
Yeah. It works out pretty well. Cannon Chocolate. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out where to put this fox. I was thinking about making him like hold it, but now I don't know. Might just put it up here. Is that noodly enough?
I can't see because it's not. Just a second. I don't actually see it.
Uh-oh. Is everybody watching from the beginning?
No, it's just there is a buffer. Oh, okay, now I start to see it. I'm like on a 30-minute delay.
That's weird.
That's always how it's been for me. There's always like a...
You mean 30 second?
30-second delay.
Okay, that's normal. That's just part of YouTube. YouTube basically does that for...
Because me and you are like talking in Discord together.
Yeah, correct. The YouTube delay is there, so I have time to delete people saying bad things.
Like how Love TV is.
Yep, that's it. Poor. What was it, Janet Jackson's nipples that got us no more live TV? stupid Super Bowl.
That was like,
That was years ago.
yeah, that was forever ago.
It's kind of like Paizo split Warlock into two classes, Witch and Magus. Maybe? Paizo basically took Warlock and turned Warlock into nothing.
Yeah, there is no Warlock.
There is no Warlock. They basically gave everybody cantrip casting just throughout the game. Like all cantrips for a lot of classes, like champions, all their cantrips just upcast. They grow with you. And then they have focus spells, which people can get through getting feats. So, which are essentially like 1 or 2 spell slot per day's usage. So basically everybody's a warlock now in Pathfinder, which I think was very smart.
Because you said champion. Champion doesn't get actual spells other than focus spells. They don't get cantrips.
Well, so if you get a cantrip as a, I'm not sure if that's true. Let me look. Let me clarify what I'm trying to say.
You are multiclass as a oracle, remember?
Oh, I might have my oracle spells. You might be right. That could be what what I'm talking about. Oh, Path Builder, why you do this? Magus got Hexblade.
Yeah, Magus is.
My champion also
like
has.
Hexblade.
Yeah, my champion also has the. Like I guess no, that's a part of the weapon. You can just put calling on a weapon and you can just summon it, which is great. It's great. Yep, Oracle Archetype. You're correct.
Yeah, because like champions are just
the focus spells.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're no longer like old school paladins.
Yeah. Which is kind of a bummer. Because then, like, at max, I can only use my lay on hands 4 times a day.
Yeah.
But it hasn't slowed me down much.
Well, is lay on hands a focus spell?
It is, yeah. Lay on hands is a focus spell that like I said, auto levels up with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, single action. Oh, I got some new ones too. Soothing words.
Take family.
I did. Did you realize how fast I would make a Boxer Magus if it works? It's the only class I've ever wanted besides straight up Lycanthrope. You can do both of those in 5e. Yeah. Just do the Eldritch Knight and be a Boxer, or be a monk and be the weird elemental monk.
Yeah, or go with the dragon monk.
Yep, dragon monk would work too. And then just punch. Unless you want the Magus powers to have like other spell slots, which does not work as well. I tried to make a punch wizard once. It didn't go well. I kind of want to try it again, though. Maybe we'll do that in Baldur's Gate someday. Nope. Bright orange, please. Okay. I think I'm done with this one. Let's try to do some more here. It's 1:30. I think we're doing all right. We got a lot. An elderly, scarred, gauntlet yet muscular hill giant. Wearing dinosaur bones. All right. What do hill giants look like?
Kind of gross looking.
Kind of gross looking.
Yeah. These in 5e, they're pretty gross looking.
Are they the flabby ones?
Yeah.
Hmm. If we want to make them scrawny, though. Let's get some shapes. Let's just draw some shapes. Probably don't need to do more than the... I like the idea of the bones. The idea that I can punch a spell someone and trigger a spell is beyond dope to me. Play Pathfinder.
Yeah, like, all this stuff can easily be fixed by Pathfinder. Like, just playing Pathfinder. I can't believe I just said that.
Pathfinder's a good system for as much as you hate it. Which, I don't know if you actually hate it, but like...
It's just... I'm not the biggest fan of 2e. That's, I think, my biggest critique, is... It's just, I'm not the biggest fan of 2e system.
I like it. But I also played a lot of Pathfinder 1, so...
Yeah. I have not played any of Pathfinder 1. Like, I've made a two characters in Pathfinder 1 and never got to play them. So, one was my fault.
This is a caveman campaign. It said that on the thing, so I think I'm going to go big old beard. Plus scraggly. Scraggly means beard.
Yep. Like Barbossa's beard.
I don't know why I just gave him a giant elf ear, because that's the only thing I draw these days.
Like, me and Drew were talking about the other day, like, you mentioned something, you said, like, how, like, you feel the kinesis feels like a half class anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, not the kinesis, but the thaumaturge.
Oh. Then he was mistaken. But, like, that's how I feel about almost all the classes. It's just, like, they all feel like they're a half of a class. It's just, like, like, I like Swashbuckler. I do. It's just...
Oh, I found some cool shit about Swashbuckler. Go ahead.
In 2E or 1E?
In 2E. I discovered some shit that kind of broke my brain this week.
Like, I love the idea of playing a speedy character. And Somar, my fletchling character, when he has panache, he has... I think when he gets to level 10, he will have a 55... foot move speed per stride action.
That's pretty awesome.
I like that. I never really get to use enough because, like, we're often in pretty tight spaces a lot of times, so it doesn't really help me.
Yeah, that is something I've noticed with Druid's games. It's like, Druid throws us into a lot of tank and spank.
Or I will not take Somar and we'll end up in a super wide-ranging map. And it's like Somar would have been helpful here because he could just speed across there, and I still have to move my character in range if they're a caster. I was like, dang it.
Yeah. Lars made a monk goblin that could travel 70 feet a turn, and he just always wanted to run, and so a fight would start and he would just run off and then get killed. it's like, and I'm like, I know you're fast. Use your speed to your advantage, but running as far away as possible is not always the answer. So, make Monk more consistent, so I might retry it. Yeah, a lot of people shit on Monk, and I still think Monk is super, super powerful, low level, and you essentially only need to give it hand wraps of whatever, and it fixes it. It fixes the Monk.
Which are a thing now.
Yeah, it 100% fixes the Monk. So at higher levels.
Because they added in the deck of many things books that they put out, that there are literal hand wraps that you can give to a monk that count as a basically plus one weapon,
yeah.
and they scale. You can get scaling versions of them.
Those have been in Pathfinder and I think 3.5 forever, because that's what makes monks really good.
Even without them, you're still doing. You're not a wizard trying to hit someone.
Yeah.
As a monk.
Yeah, I really don't understand all the hate people gave Monk. I just don't. I've played so many games with monks that have been the most broken character in the party that it's just what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
And maybe it's my homebrew. Maybe it's the stuff that I just naturally let happen. But I've never had a problem with monks being underpowered.
Well, it's Beauregard in Campaign 2 of Critical Role. Was not dishing out god tier damage.
Yeah, you're not a barbarian.
Yeah, it's Bo was consistently dealing damage and getting out of the way of damage. You're basically a tank without having to con for it.
The whole grabbing arrows basically shuts off ranged in a lot of situations.
You get basically kind of like rogue feats where you can just ignore damage or take half damage because of nimble dodge or whatever it's called, or disengage.
Yeah, and the way finesse works in 5e, there's no reason not to just stack dexterity.
Yeah,
just do it, and it's good. So whereas in Pathfinder you needed strength, you needed dexterity, you needed wisdom for your key points, and it was too much. It's hard, but it was still really powerful.
And now on 2e, which I do appreciate, is at most you just need 2 stats.
Yeah.
You can either pick between strength or dexterity and wisdom. You pick 1 to 2 physical attack stats, and then you take wisdom for your spells that you get.
It was really funny. I was teaching some people how to play 2e over the weekend, and I'm like, okay, you get 4 ability points, and they're like, I want to put it all in strength. I'm like, you can't. You can only put 1 in strength. You have to 4 different stats. That's stupid. I'm like, it's not stupid. Trust me.
You're starting at 10, at a base 10, or if your ancestry has a negative.
I let them roll because I wanted to see how that would work. Worked fine. You can still roll your stats if you want, but they basically. I was looking at it in the remastered, and they put in there that you cannot get more than a +4 at level 1. They don't want you to be able to just stack it. So that's good. But then after that, yeah, you can get tons and tons of strength, which is great.
Yeah. And you get it every 5 levels.
The reason I prefer 5e over 2e is that I can be a swashbuckler paladin ranger and it fucking works. In Pathfinder, you pick your class and you stick with what the devs think you should do. That's because in 5e, being a swashbuckler paladin ranger is just being a paladin or a ranger or a swashbuckler in Pathfinder. Pathfinder lets you customize everything internally, whereas with 5e, like because they put so many things so early on, it's just if you're trying to do the most damage, you just multi-class. Like it's just, to me that's boring. Like I like actually building things. So
because you can totally in 2e play a swashbuckler champion.
Mm-hmm. One of my friends
like,
is playing he's playing a bard, but he wanted to play it like a swashbuckler. So without even having to multi-class, we gave him, the one thing we had to do was give him proficiency with a battle lute. That was the only thing we had to change. Or I think maybe it was that we made I'm sorry, I said that backward.
Finesse.
We made the lute a finesse weapon because he's a swashbuckler, but he wants to play it like a bard. And it's working really well. It's working really, really well. He's just had to pick a few feats that give him like fascinations and stuff like that. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's just different. They're exactly the same type of builds. It's just instead of having to like dig through the multi-class, you just dig through the feat trees, and you can build the same things.
Which is a big thing I dislike. It's just like there's too many feats, too many.
Yeah.
Or at least too many feats that are just so disorganized. Especially in like Foundry and in like Path Builder.
Yeah.
Because in Path Builder they're sorted by like level, but it's like these should be like sorted by like their skill association. It's like you want all the feats that are associated with medicine. Here you go.
There is a way to look at that on the SRD. I think you can look at the feat trees, and then you can sort them through different features like that. I'll have to look up that for you.
I know that's probably a thing for like 1E, but like with 2E, like the SRD has not been updated. Like it
hasn't had 20 years of people cleaning it up.
Yeah, it's just there's not a lot. Like you look at it and it's just like they don't have half the stuff on here.
That's weird.
Or at least for 2E. And I think it's because Paizo was like decided to like basically say use Archives of Nessus. It has everything.
Yep.
That you'll need. Except for the remaster right now. I think they're still trying to figure out how to like, organize that.
It's the synergy between class features that weren't designed for other classes that makes it fun. Gotcha. I can agree with that at some point. Like I do like doing that in like video games. Like I like finding those weird little synergies that don't really like inherently exist. But I've also run into like the infinite combos. It's just like drive me crazy. It's like, oh, someone didn't think about this. Someone did not plan for this. All right then. I guess a hill giant shouldn't have hair on fire, but
Yeah, they're not fire giants.
yeah. But this guy would look badass as a fire giant, so
Save it later and just turn him into a fire giant on
Yeah.
the side.
oh my goodness. I'm gonna give him more bones. I want like a whole bunch of rib bones here. Just like channeling my inner druid here and just trying to get Whoa. That's kind of weird looking. Kind of dig it. Yeah, 5e is super simple. Like that's the biggest thing. 5e is great. And it's simple enough that you can kind of build those things very easily, which is great. I almost never get to play high-level campaigns. I think
Repeat that. Sorry.
I never get to play high level campaigns. I think like
Oh.
14 is probably the highest I've ever gone. And so I'll keep seeing things online like D&D shorts. It will be like, oh yeah, you can do this really cool thing. Start with 8 levels of monk, and it's just like, okay, like what are you doing? I never play games like that. I always like leveling up is the fun part for me. So
There's like 2 YouTubers I watch for like builds. Some days. One's called like the Dungeon Pack guy, and he will only do character builds to level 10, as he states in every build. It's like, as most campaigns only ever go to level 10, I'm not going to build a character above level 10. But if you happen to do, I'll throw in some suggestions.
Above level 10, yeah, is like, that's like you're moving into
your gods.
Demigod forms and stuff. So,
but then there's this guy who does like builds based off like video game characters or anime characters.
I think I've seen some of that stuff.
I know I've definitely seen you something. Like, he's done like an Inosuke build, and he will build to level 20 just because it's there.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I think that's fine. I have no problem with that. My issue is just when people will hit like, oh, this is the most powerful build ever. You just have to be a high level character, and it's like, then it's not powerful. Like, like it should work from first to. You're just very high level.
Level for that level.
Yeah, it's like there's like, this isn't groundbreaking. It's just high level play. So, I'm less interested in that kind of stuff.
Hear that? D&D short calling you out.
Yeah. Feud. Corvus does not represent this channel. Corvus's opinions are his own. All right.
As I have stated several times.
Dragonborn cleric, Baker and Jolly. A Dragonborn Baker cleric, huh? I have no idea. No idea how I'm going to draw this.
I feel like they have to either be like that one character, the one Baker from like Kiki's Delivery Service, or kind of like with a roll 10 type of Baker.
Furry, welcome in. There's a reason that boulders get stopped at level 12 because of 7th level spells. Yeah, 7th level spells are broken. That's great. Let's see if I can draw a kind of chunky dragon Baker. I'm going to give him a snoot. I'm going to make him look like Bowser, but...
Peaches?
Peaches. Dun, dun, dun. I thought that movie was going to be awful. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's alright. They did an okay job.
I'm going to be honest, the reason I thought it was going to be awful was not because it was a Mario movie, it's just who they had playing Mario. Like,
yeah. Chris Pratt as Mario was not what I expected, but he did a good job.
Yeah. It's like...
That feels very much like a name recognition choice.
Oh, yeah.
It worked out for him. But
even though it's like, you do have Jack Black in the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, have people forgot about Jack Black?
I hope not.
Heck, he's even getting a new, like,
Welcome
Kung
from
Fu
Bowling.
Panda movie.
Nice. Perhaps Buildcraft does not interest you, Rook. I don't know what Buildcraft is. Is that the YouTube channel? Or just Buildcraft in general? Because I do a lot of my videos on, like, the races for a reason. Because I want to start interesting characters. I'm less interested in like the down the road stuff. You're from Poland? That's very cool. I don't know what time it is there. What time is it there? I'm gonna guess it's like 9 o'clock.
Maybe similar to Genesis time?
Similar, yeah. Within a few hours, but I never remember Jonas this time either.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've done. I've drawn a weird alligator kobold.
Which is not a dragonborn.
Which is not a dragonborn.
God, it looks like a cereal box mascot.
A little bit. Should we just give him like a cake of muffins? Cupcake pan of muffins? Baking tray? I think they were served by not going live action. Do you mean saved? I mean, the live action Mario movie was
Great.
Sure.
That was sarcasm.
It was a thing. It existed.
It was okay as a non-Mario movie.
Exactly, yeah. Like, it was an okay movie. It was weird that it was Mario. Do people remember the live action Mario TV show?
There was a live-action TV show?
Oh, yeah.
There was an animated TV show.
Nope. The animated TV show was on as a short during the live action TV show.
Weird.
They had like a rap for the introduction. Funny. If you type that in, it only shows you the cartoon.
Yeah. Because, like, that sounds like... Because it's, like, on Amazon. And other, like, free, like... I mean, not saying that Amazon's free, but, like... Other streaming services that are free, it's on there a lot of times. And it's just like...
This is a real thing. Whoop. Super Mario Brothers Super Show. It's great. They basically would they basically have the like a little live action thing happen, and then they would go to the cartoon. That was pretty funny. I'm gonna delete that now. Saved in a way to take it, but served it likely improved the film a lot. Oh, they were served by not being live. Okay, I got what you're saying. Yeah, I think there's no reason for them to make it a live action. Like, if Chris Pratt was supposed to be Mario in a live action movie, I don't know if I would watch it.
Like, if they were to make a live action Mario, it has to be Danny DeVito.
Right? It's the only one that makes sense.
Yeah. He's Italian. He's kind of short.
He's Italian.
Or Italian American. Or that if he, I don't know if he's still alive or acting, but the guy who played in Home Alone.
Joe Pesci?
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name.
I think he's still alive. Yeah, he was just in a movie a little while ago.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was like retired from acting or not. So.
Professionally is to use 55 feet of speed in tight quarters. Oh, the slippers of spider climbing. Yeah. Sorry, Corvus was talking earlier when I read that and I forgot to say it. Yeah, the slippers of spider climbing are pretty cool. Basically just give you spider climb once per day, I think for like an hour.
Yeah. I don't have those, but I have like speed boots.
Speed boots.
Take on.
I was contemplating giving Finite the spider's shoes because I thought it'd be funny. Just have him like randomly start walking up walls.
Full of Gomez Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, comic and like, cartoon. Thing that he would do. Just start walking up the walls.
It's a weird show.
Yeah.
They don't make a lot of sense, but that's okay. Just parkour around the hallway and get behind enemies. Yeah. That was one of the things when I was DeFito's Wario. Yeah, it could work. When I was playing my Dragoon, because it was an Eldritch Knight, like this, I used the jump spell, I used True Strike, and I used Spider Climb. Like that was the only spells I used. And I would just use Spider Climb so I could like run up a wall and then jump on somebody. It was really fun. Give him an apron here.
Oh, DeVito's Wario. I mean, fine, but was Wario even in the game? Not game, but movie?
No.
It's like, the only other, like, one there was like, Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong was good. That was a good introduction. And I'm glad that they gave him the golf carts for...
Mario Kart.
Yeah, the Mario Karts. Because, like, what they did, I don't think they... A lot of people don't realize that Donkey Kong had his own racing game. I guess it was Diddy Kong, but Diddy Kong Racing. It was super fun. I much prefer it to Mario Kart. But, you know, I can be wrong. It's fine. I was hanging out with people on New Year's, and my friend's like, "Hey, we can play some Mario Kart," and I'm like, "I will absolutely watch you guys play Mario Kart." And I don't think anybody noticed that I was just like, they know I hate Mario Kart. I hate it with a passion. Diddy Kong Racing's great. Would you like some cookies? Burr, burr, burr. I should bake some cookies. That would be good. I could do that today. I need to work on some stuff for Star Thieves. Getting all the cards in order so people can start playing the game. I don't know if we're going to go into an open playtest for that or not. I'll have to look into that. You've been sealinged? Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Actually forgot about your Star Thieves stuff.
Yeah. The game's coming along. It's good.
That's good.
My only beef with Mario movie is the pacing and that it actively crammed everything it could into an hour and a half. Yeah, that's my argument for a lot of movies. These days, especially. But
You hear that, Disney? We want longer movies.
that's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all.
I mean, I want longer movies.
I want more TV shows is what I want. I want more series. But you're not wrong. Like I would honestly, I would prefer longer movies to what is coming out currently, because yeah,
It's like compared to like some, we discussed this before. Like there are certain directors who just need either a TV show or like a 4-hour long movie,
mm-hmm. Yep.
or just two 2-hour long movies.
Cough, cough, Zack Snyder. Who was the other guy we were talking about?
Lynch.
Lynch, yeah. David Lynch, is that right? Stephen Lynch.
Yeah.
No, Stephen Lynch is the comedian.
Yep. Who does songs.
Mm-hmm. Musical comedian.
My favorite type of comedy. That and impressions. Don't know why. Love comedians who do impressions.
I think Has Been Hotel is the Johnny the Homicidal Maniac for this generation of people. I can't get into it.
It is kind of amazing though, because it did just start out as a YouTube show.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Yeah. But like at the same time, so case in point, like what I'm talking about is a comic book that eventually led to like Invader Zim. It's just like it's edgy and kind of wildly inappropriate for the age audience, but they make it work. That's what Johnny the Homicidal Maniac was for me growing up. And I think Has Been Hotel is the same kind of style of just kind of I don't want to say depravity, but like edgy, just edgy humor, like edgy and kind of off color. Is that the right term? I can't think of what I'm trying to say. It's trying to be edgy,
yeah,
which is fine. Like that's great. But also, like, if I picked up Johnny the Homicidal Maniac today, it probably wouldn't be as funny as it was when I was in high school. I'd be like, oh, yep, okay. Alright, I think I'm done with this. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock. I kind of want to keep going, because there's a lot. But 6. What's the next one? Warforged Bartender. Oh my gosh. We're just like, we're making a restaurant today.
We're just doing all the NPCs.
Mm-hmm. Skinny, well-dressed Italian mafia. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Bolio.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Maybe we're not.
Uh-oh.
Aggie is having a hard time. There we go. Okay.
Aggie, get your shit together.
Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, edgy? Kind of. Like, I can't watch Always Sunny either. I've seen most of the memes, and my friends have told me, like, I will ask them what's going on in a show, and they will explain the show to me in, like, 5 minutes, and that's enough. It's like, oh, that's a funny premise. That's what that show is. That show is like, what would be a funny gag? Let's make that into a 30-minute episode about really shitty people. Can't do it. Can't do it. I appreciate it. I don't want to watch it. So I don't know if that's so much as edgy as that's just like kind of cringe humor. Maybe that's more edgy than like The Office would be, which is also that same kind of cringe humor. So I'm not super into.
I will say, between The Office and Has Been Hotels and / Hell of the Boss, which is another one they've done, I would rather watch Has Been Hotel and Hell of the Boss over The Office. It's just,
I can't stand The Office.
Yeah.
Which Stephen Carell is funny to me, like, but he's the same character in everything, and I need him in like little amounts, little amounts.
Which poor Steve Carell, because he's actually trying to become has been trying to become a serious actor, like do serious roles, and everyone's like, "Oh no, we want you to be the funny person."
Be the funny guy.
I don't want to be the funny person.
Yeah. I think he's a good actor. I like him, but I can't stand a lot of him. I actually don't like South Park. South Park, yeah. South Park, I used to watch back in the day, and while I think Stone and Parker are really like they're funny. Like they're funny and they are very smart. They're also very pessimistic and just kind of like shit on the world. So I can't watch South Park anymore. Yeah, I can't watch it anymore. It's just it's too down. But like, I like every now and again I'll catch a little bit of it, and it's like, yeah, it's still good. It's still way better than like Family Guy, which is just non-TV.
That's why so many people just have it on in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate to admit it, like there's some like Family Guy stuff that is objectively funny to me. I don't know why. It's like, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't think it's not funny. It's just, it's essentially like TikTok before TikTok was popular, which I think is probably why Family Guy works so well for people to steal to get popular on TikTok, because it's a list of gags that are non sequitur to the story, right? They have Family Guy has a very X says something, and then X says Y is stupid, Y happens, right? Like that's the whole way the show works. And then when they don't have a way to progress the story, they just say, "Oh, it's like this," and then they show you the flashback of that, even though that is non sequitur and doesn't have any real necessary. So it's a bunch of gags, which is funny. Like they're funny gags. They make little poignant things. It's not a good. Yeah, it's not a good. Not a good. There's no story. There's really no story. Some of the older episodes were a lot more episodic. Like the first few seasons had some really cool little storylines, and yeah, like after 3 or 4 seasons, it's just like, what am I watching? Why am I watching this?
Yeah.
And so I can't stand sitcoms anymore either. I can't watch regular TV. Anytime I like go to my parents' house or something and they're watching something, it's just like, this is awful. Like, I can't stand this. So
yeah.
I very much like long form series of things and cartoons. Cartoons are great. This was supposed to be Mafia, and I think I made him Cowboy. Oh well, we're gonna keep going. You can have a fedora as an Italian mafioso. Also, right? I don't know. We'll find out. He's supposed to be a bartender, so we'll give him a vest. Bartenders wear vests. They need their sleeves. And just because I have these opinions of things doesn't mean that you can't like them. Like, don't feel bad about me shitting on something.
Rick is old.
I'm old. Like what you like.
I'm also half old, so I may not always agree with Rick. Sometimes I do.
I like a lot of just dumb stuff. Like there's nothing no secret about that. Like I love watching just silly cartoons. I love watching like kind of old crappy westerns and stuff. But like every now and again we'll jump up and I'll start watching something. We'll get like halfway through an episode and be like, "What is this? This is bad." And that happened. I wanted to watch the What If series. I'm like, I'm gonna give this a chance because like there's a really cool things that I've seen about like Ultron and that I want to watch. I want to watch that. And it's like episode 9. We started like halfway through episode 1 and we're just like, this is written poorly, animated badly, and like isn't telling a story. It's just like nonstop action scenes. What is happening? And we stopped watching it. We just turned it off. We're like, okay. So like it's really weird when that happens because like I will give things, even if it's just bad, I'll usually give things a pretty good shake. But man, it's weird. It's weird when it actually hits like, this is just a horrible thing. I'm not sure how this got made. I tried watching more of the episodes later when Jump Rope wasn't around. I was like, I'm going to give it another try. And I got like 2 or 3 episodes in and I'm like, no, these are just weird. I don't know what's going on. it feels a little like they were written by AI. Like they have no soul. If you worked on one of those shows, please talk to me and chew me out for saying that, because I want to know what the hell happened. I blame Disney, but that's okay. I think people are programmed to seek approval of their interests. Yeah. People get really defensive about their interests, which is totally fine. I totally get it. And that's why I have to always caveat, it's okay to not like things. You can still be friends with people and not like the same things. Generally, it works out better if you have lots of things in common, but it doesn't mean you have to like everything. I don't know how to draw neckties. Maybe next week we should just do clothes. Just like suggest clothes and costumes to wear. Types of armor, something like that. I think I am tiring out. I'm getting grumpy and drawing hands poorly. Not that I can draw them super well normally, but it's getting worse. Action is usually highly formulaic. They're often written the same way. Yeah. Like, I thought Rook was my age based on the references. It's possible. Who knows? I think I'm an eldritch being disguised as a small bird. I was really excited for Agent Carter to be Captain America. I was bummed. I was disappointed. I'm getting pixelation on Twitch. That's weird. I think it's probably getting close to time to call it. I can go get some work done after this. We'll be back on Friday to finish up the rest of this list, hopefully. What else we got going on this week? I've been trying to work on this video, and I wanted to get it out before the end of July. Oh my god. Let's hope I can get it out before July. Before the end of January.
God, I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm working on that, so we'll try to get that done. I have some more commissions to work on. Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do a members-only viewer suggestion. So if you are a Patreon member or a YouTube member, there are lists up where you can add your suggestions, and we're going to try to do some, I'll spend a little bit more time because I think there's only a handful of people there. But we'll do that as a secret stream tomorrow. Try to get some stuff drawn, figured out, and then we'll go from there. And then Friday we'll do another one for everyone here, try to finish these up, and hopefully get a video out. My guess is that the video probably won't get out till the weekend, if I do get it done by the weekend. But the artwork is done. I just have to get the script done, which usually takes me about a day to finish. So hopefully I'll get that done today, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, yeah. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. That's all I got. No audio for a bit. Gonna try a sound alert. Yeah. All right. I think it's done. I think we're crapping out. So
Yep.
It's time. It is time.
I need healing.
Yeah, I heard the audio. I heard the sound alert. So it might be Twitch, but who knows? Let's see if we can find somebody to raid real quick, and then we'll call it a day.
Raid.
Raid. Blum 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 blum. I have too many tabs open. I can't find anything I'm looking for.
Your own fault.
Yep. Yep. I can't find Twitch. I can't find YouTube. What is going on here? Dun, 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 dun. There we go.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
The stream's bitrate is garbage. Well, you have to blame Comcast for that.
Bunch of jackasses.
Oh well. Okay. Let's check out Twitch and then we'll go from there. Twitch. Oh, it's real bad. I just saw it. Twitch is basically dying, yeah. It's no good at all. Elliot, welcome in. We're just about to raid somebody. I don't know if it's all of Twitch or just me, but we'll see what happens. Not edit stream. G-boom. Yeah, okay, Twitch is freaking out, so we're just going to call it. Topan, welcome in. People are joining now. I don't know what's going on, but the stream is trying to die, so unfortunately we're probably going to have to call it today.